What's worse, being the underdog or the favorite? Sounds like maybe that should be an easy answer, but honestly, I'm starting to wonder if it is. Being the underdog, going from having nothing to having something, is hard. It's so hard. But there is this inbuilt grit and passion and desire that you have, at least when I was in that situation. I had something to prove. I had to put a roof over my head. I had to feed myself. I had to support my life because I had no one that was coming in to save me. And like I said, I had something to prove. I had so many people that expected nothing of me or that had done things to me, and I wanted to prove to them that they were wrong, that I was worth something. So I had a lot of motivation and drive to get myself through the really difficult things that would get me to the point of having something. Now, the unexpected challenge, now that I've arrived at something, is how hard it is to go from having something to having something more. Because when you have something you don't want to lose. And when you've been an underdog your whole life and you've never really had anything to lose, then you've never known that fear. The fear of knowing that you've got safety right now. You've got a lot of the things that you really wanted. And if you take this next step, maybe you end up with so much more, or maybe you lose everything you built until this point. And it takes a different kind of grit, a different kind of strength, and one that I guess I haven't had to work on as much until this point in my life, and one that I've found really challenging and has made me feel super overwhelmed at certain points in my more recent journey, because I have to do things just because I want it. I have to find the grit and the discipline just because. There's nothing really making me or pushing me to. And if anything, it's this risk and this gamble that I've never had to take before. You know, it's risking and gambling everything that you worked for until this point. At least that's what it feels like. So yeah, I guess I just wanted to share that. And if you're out there and you've gotten to that point and it's like, cool, I overcame that big mountain of getting the things I never thought I could. Well, the next challenge is, can you keep going after that? Can you not let that be your ceiling? And can you overcome the fear and the hesitation and the desire for safety? And can you keep shooting to be more? And can you handle the expectation of being the favorite? I feel like it's the real test of no longer just being an animal that's surviving to being a human that's really achieving its goals. And like what I mean by that is we're all animals, right? We have certain animal instincts, and there is no greater animal instinct than the instinct to survive. And essentially when you're an underdog and you're going for something because you need that thing in order to survive, you're an animal fighting to the death in a fight, or you're an animal hunting for food after it's been starving. Every ounce of your being, every innate response is geared and charged towards making sure you survive. So yes, it's taxing on the system and it's intense and it's hard, but in theory you can understand that fire or that source or that push that gets you through is so active in that situation where you're the underdog going from nothing to something. But when you become someone who's got something, who's got comfortability, who's achieved the goals up to where they might have initially seen them, now you're really becoming a self-actualized human. Think of the top of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You're someone who has met your basic needs, and now the next step is something you're taking just because it will make you a better you, make you feel more fulfilled, give you the potential for more, but you don't need it. So it's really the first time in your life that you've had to muster a completely personal fuel source, not an animalistic drive that exists within you to survive, but it's a test of your sheer will, your sheer want, and how much you're willing to put into that. How much are you willing to gamble? How much are you willing to risk what you have in order to have the next thing? How much do you trust the stability of what you've created so that, say you punt on taking this next step in your journey, that even if it doesn't go the way that you thought it would, that you're not going to fall all the way back to the bottom? Do you trust the foundation that you've created? And I guess if you are at that place, at the place that I'm at, where you just have to get yourself to the next place on your sheer will, my advice is Get really clear on what you want. Really sit down and like every day connect with that future self, that goal life. Connect with the emotions, the things you will have in it, the way you will feel, the opportunities you will have available to you, so that you start wanting it so badly and seeing it so clearly that not having it starts to feel like less of an option. You have more of a fuel source to push you towards it. Also, think about how you can work on that internal safety with yourself so that you can feel comfortable enough to move even in this risky situation. Can you meditate more, do more breath work? Can you do some inner child work and go and talk to the little you who's afraid of taking this next step, and remind it that you're here now, you're an adult, and you guys can handle this and take these next steps together?